that money flow. We'll keep the shiny side up wherever we go. Set your own schedule, master of the road. Hauling Freedom's cargo, lightening up your load. Tips and tricks for truckers, yeah, we're helping you. From dawn till dusk, we'll see you through. Staying driven hard in it every mile. Hunting gears and wearing a smile. From hustling 60 truckers, yeah, we're helping you. From dawn till dusk, we'll see you through. Staying driven hard in every mile. Hunting gears and wearing a smile. From hustling city streets to the country lane. Driven truck, yeah, we ease the strain. Brother, sister, keep your eyes on that line. From sunrise to moonshine. Owner operators, this show's for you. Tune in, get tips, and roll on through. From diesel fumes to mountain views, we'll guide your way. Hauling grit and glory every single day. On the rubber, feel the freedom in every bend. Driven trucking, your best highway friends. Staying driven hard in it every mile. Hunting gears and wearing a smile. From hustling 60 truckers, yeah, we're helping you. From dawn till dusk, we'll see you through. Staying driven hard in every mile. Hunting gears and wearing a smile. From hustling city streets to the country lane. Driven trucking, we ease the strain. Yeah, the strain. Stay driven.
Good morning. How's everybody doing today? Hope you're all doing well. Better than I woke up this morning. I did not wake up feeling the greatest, so apologies. About 30 minutes later than typical, but certainly wanted to at least get this information out there. I didn't want to miss a day in the first week, you know? Like I said, hope everybody's doing well. If you are catching this on the replay, check the go down to the comment section and check out the pinned comment. I will timestamp when the actual trucking update starts, so that way you can skip all the fluff and get straight to what you clicked on the video for. To all you that have been around this week, y'all want to see my high-tech audio reminder? You see that? Tech audio, dummy. That's going to be my high-tech reminder. So that way, we don't start the stream off with no audio and you guys yelling at me for 5 minutes. So anyway, yeah. Wow, we made it through the first week. I feel good about how it's progressing. I can see the long-term outcome for this. I think it's going to be a net positive for everybody that finds it interesting and just wants to stay up to date with the market. The goal eventually is to be about, 5, maybe 10 minutes total of good, solid information to keep you guys up to date on what's going on in the market, so you can position yourself so you can make the most money. That way, where you have the negotiating power and where you may just want to take a load and move on. Hopefully this helps you guys out to make the most money. And then after that, I'll answer questions. I'll show some, I'll go into depth into some of the markets, but that's not necessarily going to be the most useful. What would be maybe a good use of your time would be if you're interested in a certain lane to see what it's paying. So I'm happy to do that. Happy to look that up for you guys. Monday through Friday, generally, and generally as of right now at 8 a.m. Central Time. What that looks like in the future is probably a little bit earlier. I think I'd like to get it to 7 a.m. Central Time. But as for right now, we're at 8 a.m. Central Time. Also, a quick note: I will not be doing anything on Labor Day. A lot of a lot of companies, and I know you guys are still going to be out there working, but a lot of the shippers, um, not all, but some of them are going to be closed. So we're going to go ahead and skip Monday. Plus, I've got my kids, so gonna spend time with them. They're early risers, so they'll be up, and I'm sure my son will probably want to play some Fortnite. So we'll be doing that. But anyway, good morning, Jacob. Catchy tune. Thanks, man. Um, AI is pretty cool. Did I get into marketing after trucking? No, I not necessarily marketing. My background before truck driving was mostly sales and management, and I went back into that. Um, had a couple had a couple really good, really solid positions, but had a couple that were just terrible. I did dip my toe back into car sales, and it's gone way down the tubes. It's more difficult to find a really good dealership that number one takes care of its customers, but at the same time also takes care of its salesmen. It's difficult to find. Luckily, my wife has found a really, really good one, and she loves it there. Wednesday night we went out to eat, and I got to meet everybody for the first time, and I could see that they care about each other, and at the same time having a good time. Having a good, solid work environment. So did that, sold, got into concrete and foundation repair, and actually was doing really, really well at that. But I'm not going to dive into that story. There is a story behind that one. Um, got was promoted to management like shortly after that, and then something just way out of my control happened, and it was weird. And I don't know. Like I said, weird story, but a story for another time. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and dive right in. Like I said, guys, I'm feeling like dog, you know what, and I'm just gonna try to get through this for you guys and provide that value. If you do have questions, please drop them in the comments. I'll try to get to those after I go through kind of the normal spiel, right? And yeah, we're just gonna dive right in. So as always, I like to start with the overall, just kind of loads in, loads out per state. I like to run down this list right here and, kind of see what's changed over the week. And Alabama is in really bad shape right now. Arkansas is in bad shape today. And Arkansas was looking really good earlier in the week. Arizona being Arizona, that seems like a lot of loads for Arizona. I'll be honest, I don't remember if that is high on the load count or not, but um, yeah. California in good shape still. Let's see here. Florida, I think this is actually a little bit better than what it was, but I mean, as you can see, still terrible. Georgia in pretty rough shape here. Iowa is now basically 50-50, so it was in good shape earlier, not so much anymore. Illinois, meh. What I noticed on looking at the heat map is like it's not great. Everything kind of downgraded from yesterday. So freight's looking a little thin today. Maybe if you don't have a load booked, maybe you can catch a hot load that happens to pop up. But it's been kind of rough shape. Indiana's still looking fairly good. 395 in to 546 out. So if you're up there in that Midwest area, Indiana's still looking pretty solid. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm struggling this morning, guys. Minnesota in great shape. North Carolina not so hot. North Dakota still in good shape, but that's just because a lot of trucks don't go up there. The load count is down. So you still be able to get out of there with a decent rate. Jersey's still looking really solid. That's over 2 to 1, over 2 to 1 loads to trucks. So if you're in the if you're over there in Jersey, negotiate hard. Don't accept any BS freight. Nevada is in good shape. New York's still is decent. So If you can't, if they're not giving you what you want in Jersey, you can hop over to New York and vice versa, of course. Ohio, pretty good, looking pretty solid. Oklahoma looking rough. Oregon looking really good. So if you are headed up to that northwest, hopefully you hadn't booked a load yet, because it looks like now you'll be able to get something decent, paying decent coming out of there. Pennsylvania, okay. The loads in, the loads out, loads in has made a run for the loads out. I think we were at 2 to 1 earlier in the week, but still in good shape. South Carolina doing better than North Carolina. What was North Carolina? North Carolina was 823 in to 524 out, whereas South Carolina's 336 in to 366 out. So if you're in North Carolina, maybe to bounce down to South Carolina. South Dakota, not much to speak of because there's only 62 loads out. Tennessee, not in great shape. Earlier in the week, Western Tennessee was doing better than Eastern Tennessee. We'll see. We'll look at the heat map to see if that's still the case. Texas is in a little bit of rough shape. 1,902 loads in to 1,584 loads out. Utah's is about even. Virginia, 557 in and 341 out. It's a little rough. Washington is now in better shape than what it was. 196 in to 285 out. So once again, if you're up there in that Northwest, you'll be able to catch you a good load coming out. And then today being Friday, today's the day for long hauls, right? Them long trips. So Wisconsin in good shape, 316 to 581. Let's breeze over the trend lines because these have been the same all week. That's not the one I was looking for. This is it. Hey, look, DatCon 2024 coming up. There's a nice little advertisement. It's coming up October 22nd to the 24th. See where freight rates are the deepest. Broadest data. Weekly snapshot. So that's coming up. But anyway, so we're going to breeze over this because, like I said, this doesn't change throughout the week. It will change next week, so we will be covering that. I would say the most important, if you're only going to catch one of these a week, I would say the first one of the week is going to be the most important, because that's going to be when things have updated, things have kind of reset. All these shippers are resetting all their freight for the week, right? Generally, that's what they plan for is the week. So, if you're going to catch just one or two of these earlier in the week, is certainly better than later in the week. I'm not trying to run anybody off, but that's facts are facts, right? So I left that up there for a little bit. We're still, this hasn't updated, but it's been the same all week. It's 5 cents. We're down 5 cents at the moment. I think this updates next week. I think this updates on a weekly basis, but it might be monthly. So um, the fuel, I'm pretty sure, is weekly though. We'll see. We'll see all this next week. I'm learning like you guys are learning, but we're still at 369 a mile. Let's go over here to the heat map. This is what I'm referring to when I'm referring to the heat map, and I already zoomed that in, so let's not go in too far. The brain's not working like it normally does. Starting over here on the West Coast, California's a little down from what it was yesterday. It was. Let's see if it shows how it was. No, it's not really going to show because it updates towards the end of the day, and then. But anyway, almost all of California was red yesterday. It was hot. It's still not bad here in the central area. Like what's over there, like Fresno and stuff like that. I forget the highway that runs over there. Anyway, it is still hot in the San Francisco, all the way on that western side in that San Francisco market. But as per usual, the Los Angeles and the southern side of the state is doing well. Looking up here into Portland, it's like I said, it's heating up a little bit. I do believe it hit that yellow mark yesterday. Not quite going to turn red, but it's certainly looking better if you're headed that way to get yourself out of there. Moving across to Central because we got a lot of blue over here in the middle. Dallas and Houston, they're always going to show red just because it's just such a big market, right? Kind of like LA. But Memphis is that light pink with only plus 30. So, it's rated on a 100 scale. Very early in the week, that was much higher, more than double. And right now, it's just struggling a little bit. Arkansas was hot at one point, so if you are headed, like if you're at the moment headed down to Arkansas, probably going to want to look over to the Memphis area. Just kind of hop over there, and you're likely going to get a better rate. Hot Atlanta is still looking red. Atlanta's just going to be. It's always going to be red because it's a fairly large hub for freight. And then compared to the rest of Georgia, obviously that's where all the freight's at. So it's always going to be red. So I prefer to zoom in and look at the actual market, and it's showing plus 50. And despite very poor numbers as far as the state overall is concerned, plus 50 is, I'm pretty sure, up from where we were early in the week. So not bad. And then we covered that North Carolina. If you're taking a load into North Carolina, looks like that eastern side is going to be struggling a bit. The western side is certainly going to be better. Or make sure to check South Carolina because it was heating up a little bit, although not really looking great, but not bad either. And then headed up to the Midwest. Chicago is now yellow. It hit red a couple days this week, kind of early, but it's just showing average. That yellow is just average, just middle of the road. The Chicago area, and you got the majority of Wisconsin, and the majority of Michigan is still average, which they were below average earlier in the week. So there's still some freight up there. There's still some money to be made up there. Minnesota was much hotter. It's clearly cooled off. So if you are up that way, say you're headed to Minnesota, you probably want to bounce over to Wisconsin at the worst. Indiana was completely red earlier in the week, and now it is downgraded one color shade, and only the bottom half is now that color shade. The northern part of that is pretty blue. That's pretty. I would say that's kind of abysmal. That's just kind of showing where we're at freight wise at the moment. It's just a little tough right now, guys. So hopefully you guys are making the most of what you can. Um, seeing Chicago like this is just mind blowing to me. But the southern half of Indiana is still doing well. You still got some red. Ohio's still looking good. The northeastern part of Ohio is still pink, which is essentially two downgrades from red, and then the northwestern part is just average. Looking over at Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania's been hot all week. Even the western side was still hot, but a lot of people clearly took advantage of not having to go all the way into Pennsylvania, so that way they don't have to get hammered on those fuel prices. So it looks like they've picked up a lot of that freight on that western side. If you're headed into Pennsylvania, hopefully you're headed all the way to the eastern side, because that's where the hot freight's going to be, showing plus 73. And then, of course, New York and New Jersey, as we covered. Even eastern part of Maryland and Delaware is still looking decent. So that's going to be the heat map. Sorry, guys. That's going to be the heat map. And that's going to be the majority of kind of the most useful information. I do have plans to add in just a generic overview of the weather, but I got to figure out the right way to do that, and I just, quite frankly, haven't had time to sit down and figure that out. But that's coming in the future. And then there's been a request as well as thoughts as far as keeping everybody updated on some of the major news topics. I don't want to go into every news topic on a daily basis, but those big ones I certainly want to touch on, and I'll keep you guys up to date on some of that. So that's going to be integrated as well. But this is the first week that I've been doing this, so I'm just trying to find my sea legs, right, and figure out how to get through all this without fumbling, without without audio issues and stream issues and just everything. So it's been a fun experience so far. It's been a learning curve, but we're gonna get there. We gonna get there. So let's go back to the comments section. Good morning, Russ. Yeah, man, great to see you too. Glad to be here. Glad to be able to do what I can for our wonderful drivers out there on the road. We do appreciate you guys. We do appreciate you guys. Cheap freight haulers currently at a Walmart DC with no delivery. Oh no, it's going to be a great day. I'm terribly sorry to hear that. I sincerely hope that they are able to get you in today. I know what that nightmare can look like. Rough. Say a prayer for you, man. James, good morning. Smiling. Love to see it. Love to see it. If you guys have any questions, if you want to see any specific markets, I'm happy to pull it up and show you guys or see any specific lanes. But as far as, I mean, it being Friday, most of you guys probably already have your loads booked. Um, so, I mean, kind of diving into these specific loads, there's really not much of a point. And there's not much of a point considering what I've already covered as far as going in and actually looking at these very specific markets. So for me to kind of do this, quite frankly, would just be a waste of your time. So here's Hoss. Hoss says, haven't even started school yet, but your channel has been so helpful already. Thanks for what you do. Hey man, I appreciate that. I was out there busting rocks for 10 years, and a lot of I'm not gonna say, well, I did a lot of research. I'm a research guy, right? And so what I would when I would go out there and when I would look and see what was on YouTube, there was some good stuff. Do not get me wrong, there was some good stuff, but I saw that there was a lot lacking as well. And I really that's why I started this whole thing. Um, I started teaching. I've got a lot of videos which I'm never going to pull down, because that a lot of that information is what's called evergreen. That's why I made those videos so that way they stay relevant down the road. And eventually it's not going to be relevant anymore, but that was my goal with the channel, was to teach, right? And so I'm never going to pull those down. I'm going to leave those up. There's a lot of good information there for new truck drivers, for flatbed guys. I pulled a for all of my owner operator career. I've started off with a flatbed, and then I bought a step deck. So I ran the spot market, which is what we're looking at today, and I worked for a couple of companies. I started off with Mercer, and then I ended the career with Landstar. And so I've done a little bit of everything. I'll never claim to be an expert at everything or even really anything, but I am a critical thinker. So I will say that I'm proud of the channel. I'm proud of where it went, and I'm proud to leave those videos up. So thank you for your support. Thanks for saying that. It's greatly appreciated. I am going to go ahead. No more questions popped up. It's been enough time for that delay to kind of catch up. I didn't manually set that delay, but I guess there's just really no other way to around that. It's fine. It's like 20, 30 seconds, something like that. So no other questions have popped up. So we're going to go ahead and dip out here. Just a reminder that I'm not going to be streaming Monday because it's a holiday. I've got my kids. So we will fire back up Tuesday with the dad joke calendar, unless something goes wrong with Amazon, and that should be at least a little fun. Maybe a chuckle every once in a while. Some of them are going to be eye rollers, I know, but there's going to be some good ones in there. There's going to be some gold. So we'll see. You guys stay safe over the weekend. Be a keep up with the weather. It's one of the things that I didn't really harp on in the channel, but is super super important. You always got to know what you're headed into, and you can adjust that sometimes by just leaving at different times than what you normally would. So stay safe, guys. Keep the shiny side up, but as always, stay driven.